So, I would argue that haikyuu is up there with some of the most influential animangas of the last decade. It's gone a whole new wave of people into playing volleyball, so much so that it kept getting mentioned at the Paris 2024 Olympics. As well as this, it may have been one of the best dubs that I've seen recently, so, W. But haikyuu to me is much more than just your typical shonen sports anime. It's a way of life! I'm just kidding. In all seriousness though, I've been playing football since I was a wee prepubescent lad, or more specifically, just over a decade. And I'd like to think that this has not only shaped me as a person, but it's also a large part of my life. And what I specifically love about haikyuu is its character arcs surrounding the different attitudes towards being a sports player. But, before we get into it, let me talk about what I'm drawing in the background. This is a poster for my webcomic, Keys of Corruption, which is hopefully going to be coming out late spring, early summer of this year. In a world where only 1% of the population is born with special powers called keys, distressing things start to happen to Rose Kingsley when her mentor dies. This sets into motion a dangerous chain of events which will change Rose's life forever. So if this sounds like your kind of thing, consider following me on my socials. Links are in the description. Okay, so one of the most impactful character arcs in the show, for me, was the story of Tooru Oikawa. He's a bit of a prick, and I know that, and I love him for that, but his relationship with volleyball, and by extension Ushiwaka, is something that I really relate to. Growing up, my under-16s team always had that one team that we couldn't beat. It didn't matter how good we were, how good my team continued to get, we always came second. So whenever I watched Oikawa have beef with Ushiwaka, I was like, oh no, this is about to become my favourite boy. So, because of this weird coincidence I had with a character, a lot of his actions when revolving around volleyball made sense to me, and I heavily related to it. The reoccurrence of finding volleyball fun again is something I found sad and also relatable, and I don't know any other time that someone would have the same feelings than playing a team sport. I took a break from playing football for about 3 years because I didn't find it fun anymore. I mean, my under-16s team fell apart because there were too many bullies, and I was going to stand with my friends. So I came to uni, joined the team, and had fun again. But last year I had a super rough time. You can watch my Landlord from Hell video to see why. And I fell out of love with the game. But I took a step back this year, met some cool freshers, and I've relearned to love the game again. Seeing an experience like mine portrayed with such intention and care is one of the reasons I love this animanga. Oikawa doesn't just one and done learning to love volleyball. There's multiple instances where he relearns it, when Iwaizumi headbutts him, when he decides to go to Argentina despite working with Ushiwaka, and when him and Hinata play beach volleyball. No matter how much you apply yourself, it's natural to fall out of love with hobbies or a hobby you've turned into a job. It's evolution of interest, I guess. But this is just a story that I relate to so much. And I'm sure a lot of people who've played sport when they were younger would relate to it. Another character arc I like but don't relate to too much is Tsukishima's. I love his arc a lot because it's about learning to love the game. He has some reservations about playing at his full potential, but his journey to overcoming them is beautiful to watch. Like, why am I cheering along when he blocks Ushiwaka? I'm never that energetic when watching sports. I lied, I am. I think Tsukishima's arc encompasses learning to love a hobby almost too much, and then realizing you have the potential and talent to make it a job. He's not as famous as Hinata or Kageyama by the end of the manga, but he doesn't want to be. He's happy because he gets to play volleyball full time, and he can keep doing it for as long as he wants, because he has passion and has the talent turned ability to do it. Another arc I really like, which isn't related to character arcs at all, is the summer training camp arc. I was rewatching it recently and I kind of realized the entire arc is just positive reinforcement about not giving up. Looking at it from this lens, sure, a lot of negative things happen to Hinata and the team, but it always ends up being spun positively. This genuinely may be one of the reasons that haikyuu is so loved, because no matter what, haikyuu keeps telling you to never give up and keep striving for greatness despite the fact that the world is telling you you can't do it. Because you can do it. It just takes hard work and a good support network. In conclusion, I'm emotional, haikyuu is peak, argue with a wall.